Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Alrighty. And I'm gonna come and grab my tea. Well, good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? We got Instagram going on. Let's see, hello. And then we also got the adventure on YouTube. I'm trying to play some music today, so I hope that we are able to hear it. I have it low enough, so hopefully you will still be able to hear me as we go through our class today. So something nice and light. So if it's too loud, let me know. Oh. So for those who are joining my class for the first time, thank you so much for coming. My name is Julia, and during this time of the day at 7 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I teach a morning hatha flow, something to get you energized for the day in a nice, even mannered pace so that we feel energized and not completely worked out for the day. You can save all that stuff after you've had your cup of coffee and after you woke up and everything like that. Um, for today's class, specifically, what we are going to be working on is we are going to be working with revolved asanas today. So, if for some of us who may not know what revolvement means or revolving, it is a type of twist in our yoga asana where we go the opposite direction of what the traditional pose is to get deeper into our spine as well as deeper into our pose. And so with the revolving, it revolves around twisting throughout our asanas. So expect a lot of twists today. To give you a quick example of what a revolve looks like, I'm going to use the triangle as an example. So the Sanskrit word for revolving is parivrita. And so I'm going to demonstrate parivrita trikonasana. So in a traditional trikonasana or triangle pose, we have ourselves starting in a warrior-like position and then having both of our legs straight so that we can get deeper into our hamstrings and having some hip hingement and having our body to the side here going into the traditional trikonasana. And so technically at this point, this is a little bit of a twist because we do got some chest opening. We have a little bit of twisting towards the pelvic area. But with a revolved, we take that opposing arm. So my right arm is my opposing towards the ceiling. And we take it to the lower level where our lower arm is to support our trikonasana. And then we take that other arm towards the ceiling. And so we got more of a twist going into our spine. We also have a twist going into our hips so that we can help make them square, building the strength in our pelvic area. And overall, just getting deeper into the asana that way. So you will be seeing that in our class today, as well as other twisting asanas. So just so you know what we're going to be working on today. So with that being said, comfortable clothes. I would suggest if you have your own blocks to grab blocks, either one or two. I personally love having two on hand when I work on yoga. A blanket if accessible, And if you don't have blocks, you can easily get, if you have like giant soup cans, you can use those as a block, making sure that it's on the sturdy side and not on the rolly side. You can have stacked of books, or if you have a briefcase, or if you have an instrument at home, just anything that is nice and solid. You can even use this as a block. So anything that you can find at home that's nice and sturdy. That being said, we can go ahead and come into our comfortable seated position. And as we come into our comfortable seated position, we're going to go ahead and take a deep inhale, bringing your shoulders all the way up to your ears. And then exhale, rotate them down into the shoulder girdles. Having your chest lifted here, tailbone is just very minimally tucked. Good. And allowing yourself to take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling through the nose. Final deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. So other things that, as we sit here in our grounding position, that twists can help us with, is that twists really help restore the range of motion in our body. Not specifically just our spine, but we can find that in our lower torso area. We can find that in our hips. Really, if you think about twist here, a twist is very great for cleansing your organs and stimulating the circulation. And with the stimulated circulation, that is a property of helping our organs cleaning or having a cleansing and refreshing atmosphere with our organs. So if you think of a sponge here when you're washing dishes and you need to rinse out your sponge, you have all those toxins, you have all the byproducts of what you washed with. And when you stick that sponge underneath this up or running faucet and you start to wring it out, that is a twisting motion of a sponge, and you see all of the byproducts going away and withering away from the sponge. And when you unravel the sponge, allowing the fresh water, or in this case, pretending like it's the oxygenating blood going through our body, it helps bring that cleansing and that refreshing motion to our organs, as well as revitalizing the oxygen and just making everything cleansed in that sense. It's the best analogy that I can use for how twisting can be very beneficial for our organs and our associated glands with that. So today we're going to work on the range of motion with our spine and our hips today, because some of our range of motion could be lost through the shortening of our soft tissues, so like our muscles and our tendons, our connective tissues. And that can happen when we are being inactive, or if we're just not lengthening through our tissues, like if we're not participating in our daily yoga. So, and when we have the shortening of these tissues, it gradually shortens the joint's mobility and its range of motion, which is why it's so important that we practice at least every day or every other day with our yoga practice. And so as we sit here and grow nice and tall with our chest, I'm going to take a deep inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking 2 more cleansing breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhale through the mouth. One more time with the cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. We're going to go ahead and take our palms out to the T. And the palms are faced up. We're going to take a deep inhale, move through the chest, upper arms to forearms, bringing the hands towards the ceiling. And palms together, exhale into the heart center. Okay, from here you can set an intention for your practice today. Whatever brought you onto this mat, get you flowing and going. On the next breath, you can take your palms up to the T again, and 3 times. Inhale, rise, bring in arms towards the ceiling. Flipping the palms down, exhale, release to the mat. Inhale, rise, bring in arms up towards the ceiling. Flipping the palms, exhale, bringing them back to the mat. One more time, inhale, rise. And as our arms are towards the ceiling, we're going to clamshell our fingers together, interlacing. We're going to rotate the palms to face towards the ceiling. Here, getting a nice long spinal and upper arm stretch. Good. So our shoulders are still away from the ears. So we're finding that length through our neck as well. Creating this fire and this heat into our upper body. Making sure that we are continuously breathing through the stomach and through the chest. Good. 2 more breaths. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale, keeping the palms interlaced. We're going to just very slightly lean our body towards the right side. Very nice and gentle, keeping the arms as straight as comfortable. Rooting through the left knee as we bend over to the right side. Good. Taking 3 more breaths here. Lengthening through the neck, the shoulders away through the ears. Good. And then inhale, bringing the palms back towards the ceiling. And exhale, we're going to side bend over towards the left side. Staying here for 3 breaths. Right knee is rooted, lifting up through the chest, shoulders away from the ears. Maybe bringing the arms back, the chest forward. And then inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to release the arms, but we're going to gently rotate our shoulders into the girdle and bring in our arms behind our back. And we're going to clamshell them again. We're not going to flip the palms. Good. We're just clamshelling, arms straight behind, shoulders away from the ears, bringing your chest forward. And then from here, we are going to inhale, rise with our chest and bring in our fist towards the back of the room, diagonally towards the ground. Good. Take in 2 more breaths. And then we're going to inhale, lift up through the chest. Keeping the palms together, we're going to exhale, hip hinge, and bring in the palms towards the ceiling, wherever is comfortable. And we don't want to lose the engagement into our chest and our shoulders. So if our shoulders are out of socket and our arms are up towards the ceiling, then we're not getting as much of a benefit of opening up through our chest and strengthening through our shoulders and our arms if our shoulders are in the girdle. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Every inhale, finding more length into your breath, and every exhale, finding more of a hip hinge or more depth. Good. On the next breath, we're going to inhale, rise, bringing the chest back towards the ceiling. Then exhale, release the arms. Go ahead and doing a few shoulder rolls here. And then reversing the rotation of your shoulder rolls. Thanks for joining. Good. And then from here, we're going to take our palms out to the T, and we're going to inhale, rise, both arms towards the ceiling, keeping the right arm lifted, lower the left to the ground, and inhale, stretch the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, keeping the shoulder intact. And then inhale, start to side bend over towards the left side, keeping your arm nice and strong. But flexing through the right fingers, rooting through the right knees, and bringing the arm towards the back of the room out of your peripheral vision. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. Then inhale, rise, both arms up towards the ceiling. And then lowering the right palm and keeping the left hand as high as you can towards the ceiling. Flatten the right palm and inhale, start to side bend over towards the right side, making sure that we find this length through our spine. And maybe challenging our right arm to go towards the back of the room out of our peripheral vision, leading with the chest forward. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. Then inhale, rise, both arms towards the ceiling. And then exhale to cactus arms. And then with these cactus arms, we're going to have the elbows in alignment with our shoulders here. And we're going to do some Cactus Cat-Cows. Say that 3 times fast. Okay. So on our inhale, we're going to inhale, bring our chest forward and bring our forearms back like we would in a cow spine. Then as we exhale, we're going to round through the shoulders and bring our forearms together, chin to chest. Good. Inhale, cow spine and chest forwards, arms are open. And exhale, forearms together, chin to chest. 3 more times at your own pace, your own breath. From here, we're just finding warmth into our arms because we're going to need them for our twisting, increasing the range of motion and the strength with our shoulders and with our chest. So then the next time that we find ourselves in the cactus, we can inhale through the chest and turn over towards the right side for our first twist. Left hand onto the side and the right arm is behind, lifting up through the chest, eye gaze over the right shoulder. We're making sure that we have a little bit of that core engagement too, so that we find lift throughout our spine. So core engagement, chest is lifted. The back hand is just a guide to help us form the twist, but we shouldn't use it as a kickstand because we want to build that lengthening and that strength from our lower core all the way up into our chest. And you can take the eye gaze over the left shoulder. And then very slowly, we're going to inhale, rise, untwisting, bringing our arms up back towards the ceiling. And then coming back into those cactus arms with the chest lifted, twisting to the left side this time. So inhale, leading with the stomach, rib cage, and chest to the left. Right hand to the thigh and left arm behind, lifting up through the chest. Eye gaze over the left shoulder. Staying here for 5 breaths. And take the eye gaze over the right shoulder for 2 more breaths. And then inhale, slowly rise, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release. Good. It's a fun time on the mat. You can go ahead and find yourself at a tabletop position here. Good. And in this tabletop, creating enough space between our palms and our hips stacked above the knees. We're just going to do 3 sets of cat-cows here for spinal extension. So on your inhale, we're going to scoop the tailbone up and the chest up into your cow. And the exhale, we're going to round through the shoulders into your cat. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. One more time, inhale into your cow, chest is forward, tailbone up. Exhale into your cat. Good. We're going to curl the toes and bring your hands just about an inch or two towards the top of the mat, going into a very active child's pose. So the toes are going to be tucked, stretching through the ankles, the back hamstrings, and really creating space in between the shoulders so that this is active and not as restful. Good. So 2 more breaths, straightening out through the spine. On the next breath, we're going to inhale, come into supported plank with the core engaged, lifting up through the shoulders here. Good. Find yourselves here. We're going to inhale, shift forward, and bringing our chest to the ground, tailbone up towards the ceiling. Good. Shoulders away from the ears, and inhale, come into cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale to cobra once more. Good. Hold it here for 2 more breaths, shoulders away from the ears. Good. Exhale, release. Curl the toes. Inhale, rise, supported plank. Engage the core. Bend the knees generously. Take the tailbone nice and high up towards the ceiling. Really stretch out through the spine for 2 more breaths. Before you make the connections of heels to the ground to full downward facing dog. And as you find yourself in down dog, allow yourself to pedal out through each leg to start, so that we can stretch out through our hamstrings, 1 foot at a time. And if you wanted to, in your down dog, you can also find some hip sway side to side. That's really great to stretch out underneath your armpits, into your side body. If you bring your feet at warrior diagonals. Good. I'm going to bend the feet, knees generously, eye gaze forward, either hopping, stepping, or walking into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Having the knees generously bent first and clasping the elbows together and bending or bringing your head down. And we're just going to maybe bring the feet more than hip length apart as we keep them nice and bent. And find that little pendulum swing. Softening through the spine, through the neck, so we can find more length and more of a hip hinge. So maybe finding some quad engagement, lifting up through the kneecaps as we fold here. Tailbone up towards the ceiling. Good. Hands to the shins. Inhale, halfway lift, think cow spine. Good, then exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees generously. Hands to the shins, lift up through the chest. And inhale, come into your chair pose. Arms lifted. Good. 1 more breath. Inhale, rise into high mountain, back bend. Good. And then exhale, release. Hip hinge all the way back to the mat. Bringing the right leg back. Running lunge. Keeping the left thigh lifted here. Chest is lifted. Plant the left hand. And bring your right chest to the ceiling first, and then straighten out through the right arm. High lunge twist. Good. Nice. Keeping the right arm towards the ceiling. Bringing the right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. Good. And then exhale, release. From here, we're going to drop the left knee and the top of the left foot, Anjali Asana. So squaring through the hips. Protect the left knee, use the blanket if needed. Hands onto the thighs, lift up through the chest. And from here, we're going to drag the back leg isometrically towards the front of the mat. Isometrically means it's staying in place, but we're having this dragging sensation with our left leg so that we can create more space in between our hips so that we're not pushing down, but we're lengthening forward. And once you find this comfortable position, you can come into your full Anjali Asana. And coming into cactus arms to chest open. Staying here for 3 breaths. So finding that core engagement, lengthening through the hips, chest is open. And then palms together, lifting up through the chest. And taking the left elbow to the right thigh, coming into Anjali Asana twist. Good. So a little deeper into the hip than in our lunging twist. Good. Pressing the top of the left foot into the ground. 1 more breath. Inhale, lift up through the chest, palms forward and rising back up into Anjali Asana. Good. Then exhale, hip hinge forward, hands to the mat. Curl the left toes and inhale. Find a half splits with your right leg, toes pointed forward, right hip creases back. This is also a good time if you have your blocks, if you needed assistance finding connection to your hands to the mat into this half splits. You can have 2 blocks on either side of the foot, or you can have 1 block towards the ankle to help keep you lifted here. And then reconnecting with the Anjali Asana prep. That Anjali Asana prep, you're going to walk your right foot towards the right corner of the mat like we would in lizard pose. Good. And from here, we're going to walk our arms towards the left side. And we're going to come into what looks almost like a lizard downward facing dog. So our right knee is going towards the right side and our arms are going over towards the left. If I need a little bit of a hip hinge here, I'm pressing the top of, or the bottom of the right foot, and if it feels better, you can curl your left toes to keep you supported here. Just getting a good side body stretch as well as a little bit of opening into the right hip. 2 more breaths. Good. And then you can gently walk your hands back into that Anjali Asana prep. You can curl the left toe, slits up through the left knee. And from here, we're going to bring the right leg back into plank, nice and strong here. In your plank, you're going to hinge forward, coming to a chaturanga all the way to the mat, and coming into a cobra position on your next breath. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold. Curl the toes, inhale, rise, chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out the legs just like before. Maybe some good warrior feet to get more into the side body. But anything to get your spine moving and grooving. Hamstrings being stretched out. Whatever feels good. And from here, we're going to find the bend to the knees again. Taking the eye gaze forward, either hopping, stepping, or walking into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Good. Hands to the shin. Inhale, halfway lift. Think cow spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees generously. Take the tailbone back, hands to the shins. Lift up through the chest. And from here, arms are risen into your chair position. Good. 2 more breaths. Engage the core. And inhale, rise. Arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe a little back bend if you want. And palms together. Hip hinge, forward fold, hands to the mat. This time we're going to take the right leg back. And with the right leg back, we're going to plant the right hand square through the hips. And inhale, left chest towards the ceiling, and then the left arm to follow. Just easier on the arms when you twist. Good. Making sure that the right thigh is lifted. Left knee is going forward towards the left pinky toe. Good. Then exhale, release. Bringing the hand into the inside of the left foot. Good. And then dropping the right knee for our Anjali Asana. So prop up if you need to. Hands onto the thigh here, lifting up through the chest. Find that isometric drag with the right leg going forward, lengthening through the spine and the hips. And when you're ready, inhale, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling into Anjali Asana, and then coming into cactus arms to find more of an opening through the chest. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, rise, Anjali Asana. Exhale, hip hinge, hands to the ground, and find a half splits with your left leg. Toes pointed forward or towards the ceiling, as long as we're getting a good hamstring stretch. Maybe a little bit of quad engagement, lifting up through the kneecap too. Good. And then you could come back with that bent knee. And then one more time so that we don't forget.
Coming back into our Anjali Asana, we're going to place our palms together here. And inhale, taking the right elbow to the left into the Anjali Asana twist. I gaze over the left shoulder. A little deeper than the lunge here. So find that core engagement. Find that quad engagement, maybe engaging the glutes. Good. And inhale, coming back into the Anjali Asana prep. Taking the arms forward and bringing the left leg just about an inch towards the left side. Pointing the left toes and the left knee towards the left corner of the mat. And walking your hands towards the right corner of the mat. Coming into what looks like a downward facing Anjali Asana. So if you need to curl the right toes to keep you supported, you can go ahead and do that. Good. Gonna stay here for 2 more breaths. You got it. Nice and strong. Engage that core. Good. And inhale, walk yourself back into the center of the mat. Anjali Asana prep. Lift up through the right knee, bring the left leg back, find that plank, and inhale, go through your vinyasa flow if you wish. And you can choose any back bend that you like, either upward facing dog, cobra. As long as you find yourself back in a downward facing dog, pedaling out through the legs. Hips towards the ceiling, one leg at a time towards the ground. Once you find yourself nice and reset, we're going to root through the left foot, and then we're going to inhale, rise, right leg up towards the ceiling into 3-legged dog. When you find yourself in your 3-legged dog, we're going to bend the right knee and then open up the hip crease. To deepen this twist, you can take your eye gaze underneath the left armpit to find your right foot. And spread your knees as far away as you can from one another. Good. Square through the hips, keep the knee bent. Inhale, bring your knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee to right elbow. Gauge the core, take a breath. Exhale, 3-legged dog. And then from here, we're going to bend the right knee in towards the left elbow. And then dropping the left foot at a warrior diagonal and straightening the right leg to the outer foot is onto the ground. And then planting the right hand and inhale, rise left arm towards the ceiling. So this looks like a trikonasana, a triangle, except the right foot is on its side to the ground. We did this last week. Good. Lowering the left hand, bending the right knee, coming back into that 3-legged dog. Good. Bend the right knee and inhale, hinge forward, placing the right hand in between our palms, or right foot in between our palms. Dropping the left foot at the warrior diagonal. Once you're ready, you can inhale, rise, windmill into your strong warrior 2. So we're here into this warrior 2, making sure the back foot is at a diagonal, front knee is bent, having some good minimal core engagement here with a very minimal tailbone tuck. We just don't want an overarch into our belly. And then bringing our arms out to the T, shoulders away from the ears, chest is lifted. Nice and strong. As we root through the left pinky toe, we're going to bring our knee more towards the front of the mat, flipping our right palm up and inhale, reverse the warrior, bringing the left arm down our leg, or maybe behind our back to grab the right thigh. And bringing the right hand back towards the left foot. Getting that good side body bend, opening up through the spine, through the side muscles. Good. On the next breath, inhale, warrior 2. And from here, we're going to straighten out through the legs for trikonasana. And as we straighten out through the legs here, we're going to prep up the hamstrings and the hips before we go into the full trikonasana. So as we have the right leg straight and the back leg straight, good. We're going to go ahead and take our arms up to the T and point our fingers forward. And as we have ourselves to the T, we're going to go ahead and bring that left hip crease back a little bit Engage the right quad. And inhale, halfway hinge, bringing the right arm forward so that we're halfway hinging onto our right hip. Good. Exhale, release. Bring the left hand behind the right back. So keep the chest lifted here. And then keeping the right arm forward again, engage the quad. Inhale, halfway lift. Bringing the right arm stretching forward. Find that opening through our chest. Keeping the left arm behind our back. Then exhale, release. You could go ahead and take our left arm and bring it all the way up towards the ceiling, shoulder in the girdle. And from here, we're going to inhale, bringing the right arm forward while keeping the left arm up. Good. These weird opposing forces here, stretching out through the spine. Then exhale, Trikonasana prep. And then for the full Trikonasana, if you don't have a block prepped, I would grab a block and bring the block to the outside of the right foot. Yeah. And from here, we're going to inhale, hinge forward, taking our right hand, hinging all the way forward. Right hand to the right block, and inhale, bring the left arm towards the ceiling. And this would be the full Trikonasana prep. Rooting through the left foot, getting a good stretch into the left side body and the left arm towards the ceiling. Good. And for some of us that know that it's hard for us to get into twists, like if we have really tight backs, you are more than welcome to place the block into the inner arch of your right foot, because that might be a little easier for us when we go in our Parivrita Trikonasana. Good. So as we take 2 more breaths here, we're going to very gently exhale, release, meeting our left hand to that block. And as we meet our left hand to that block, we're going to have a little bit of a shift in our hips. So maybe bringing the left hip crease a little back, left hip crease forward. Finding a little squaring sensation. And as we find that, we want to keep our feet planted to the ground. We want to keep our quads nice and strong, lifting up through the kneecaps here. Left hand could be on the block, either on the outer edge of the foot for more intensity, or to the inner arch of the foot to be a little more easier onto our spine. And from here, we can lead with our right chest towards the right side of the room, and then our right arm towards the ceiling. It's easier to move with our chest as we go through these twists so that we're not putting too much strain onto our shoulder joint. So again, left hand onto the block and leading with the right chest towards the ceiling, and then right arm to follow. Parivrita Trikonasana. Revolved triangle. 3 more breaths of exploring. Good. And very slowly release. Right hand to the block. Good. And then from here, I would keep the block and place it in front of your right foot. Re-square the hips and bring the left leg just a little closer towards your right. So decreasing the width to go into pyramid pose. Both the toes pointed forward here, right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. Either hands onto the highest level of the block, or if you want to get deeper to the hip hinge, you can place the block onto its side, or maybe not grab onto the block at all. But we want to find a straight spine as we hinge here. So if we know that we are rounding a lot, we don't want to place our hands as close to our body. We want to lengthen through our body. So making our limbs or our arms go towards the front of the mat. Good. 2 more breaths. And we're going to exhale, release, bending the right knee, and walking towards the left side into a wide-legged forward fold. So I would increase the width of your feet here, the space in between your feet, coming into a wide-legged fold. So you're more than welcome to take your arms to your elbows so that it could be more decompressing, rocking side to side. Maybe taking your hands into what looks like a downward facing wide-legged fold. Or you can also take your hands underneath and guide your straight spine and your crown towards the ground. Whatever reset that you need at this moment, go ahead and find it for 2 more breaths. And once you found your reset, you can take your hands to the floor, think cow spine in this half lift. And once you find yourself at this half lift, keeping your left hand to the ground, lead with your right chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling. Wide-legged twist. Good, 2 more breaths. And then exhale, release. Switch the right hand to the ground and inhale, rise. Left arm towards the ceiling, leading with the chest. Good. 1 more breath. And then exhale, release to the ground. And we're going to go ahead and bend at the knees and point our toes towards the outer edges of the room. So towards the ends of the mat. Hands onto the thighs. And then inhale, rise all the way up into your goddess squat. So taking your arms out into cactus, straightening out through the spine. Bring the tailbone towards the ground. Goddess. Nice and strong into the shoulders and into the chest. 5-pointed star. Inhale, rise. Arms up towards the ceiling, straightening out through the legs. And exhale, release. Goddess squat. Inhale, rise. 5-pointed star. And then exhale, release. Goddess squat. And do this 2 more times. Inhale, rise. And exhale, release. 1 more time. Good. And we're going to go ahead and just point our left toes to the front of the mat, and our right toes are going to come at that warrior diagonal. And right over here, we are already prepped for that warrior 2, just on the opposite side. So as we're here, open up through our warrior 2. If you have your block, before we start, I'd place it towards the front of the mat. Good. As we're here in this warrior 2, find that core engagement, arms up to the T, shoulders away, staying here for 2 more breaths. Really rooting through that right pinky toe, lengthening through the spine here. We're going to flip the left palm up and bring the right arm down and inhale, reverse your warrior. And you can either take your right arm down your leg, or you can take the right arm behind your back. Maybe try to grab onto the left thigh here. Really lifting up through the chest and bringing that side body arching over towards the right side. Good. 3 more breaths. Keep making sure that the front knee is still bent. Nice. On the next breath, inhale. Come back into your warrior 2. Good. Going into those Trikonasana preps, we're going to go ahead and straighten out through the left leg and making sure that as we are straightened here, that the block is either on the outer edge of the left foot or onto the inner arch. Whatever was more comfortable on the right side, I would mimic that for the left. So as you come into your Trikonasana prep, we're just going to go ahead, straighten out through the left leg, bringing the right hip crease back. And inhale, bring the left arm forward at a hip hinge here, engaging the left quad, lifting up the left kneecap, just halfway. Then inhale, rise, back up into your Trikonasana prep. 1 more time, inhale, hip hinge forward, bringing your left arm forward, keeping your right arm back. 3 breaths, hold it here. Good, then exhale, release. With the right hand, we're going to take it behind our spine so that the back of the hand is onto our spine. Our chest is lifted here. We're going to go through 2 more Trikonasana preps, but inhale, bringing the left arm forward, hip hinging here, and trying to lengthen up through the spine, bringing the left arm forward, not towards the ground, but forward. And then exhale, release. Bringing that right arm towards the ceiling. We kind of look like a clock here. Right hand is at 12. Left is at
3 or at 9, whatever the time is for you here. And from here, we're going to inhale, bringing the left arm forward, right arm towards the ceiling. Good. All these opposing forces here. Engage the core. 2 more breaths. And very slowly start to guide the left hand to the block and keeping the right arm towards the ceiling. Trikonasana pose. So from here, we're at our Trikonasana, our triangle. Our left hand is on the block, either on the inside or the outside of your left foot. Right arm is towards the ceiling. Right hip creases back, left hip creases back. 2 more breaths. Really finding that opening through the chest. And then on an exhale here, we're going to very slowly start to bring the right hand onto the left block and maybe finding a shift in your hips here, maybe finding a little bit more squaring. They'll feel a little better for your spine. So taking the right hand to the block. And then from here, we're going to lift the left chest towards the ceiling, and then bring in our left arm towards the ceiling into revolved Trikonasana. Parivrita Trikonasana, left side. So making sure that we're still rooting through the back ankle. Good, that the left chest is lifted. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths of exploration. Good. And on the next breath, exhale, release. Bringing the left hand to meet the block. And you can either have the block to the inner arch of your left foot or in front. And we're just coming into pyramid pose. So having both of the toes pointed forward and having yourself hip hinging so that we can get more to our hamstrings. So if you need to decrease the width, you're more than welcome to do so in between your feet. So decreasing the space in between your feet as we find the straight spine, hip hinging. Good, just getting deeper into the hamstring. Taking 1 more breath here, inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release. Bend at the left knee. Place the block to the side for now. Both hands are on to the mat. Bring the right foot back so that we're in a running lunge. We're going to bend at the left knee and inhale, hike it up into 3-legged dog. And as you have it hiked up into 3-legged dog, we're going to bend the left knee and open up the hip crease and taking your eye gaze underneath the right armpit, trying to find your left foot. Spreading your knees as far apart as you can from one another. Good. Squaring the hips, inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, inhale, knee to left elbow. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, inhale towards the right elbow. Dropping the right foot, the warrior diagonal. Inhale, straighten out the left leg. The outer edge of the left foot onto the floor. Plant the left palm to the ground and inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling. Good. 2 more breaths. Find that core engagement here. Good. Then exhale, release. Bringing the right hand to the ground. Bending the left knee in. Bringing it back up towards the ceiling. And then coming forward into your plank. Drop the knees. Child's pose. Good. Staying in this child's pose for a few more breaths here. Taking deep, gradual breaths through the stomach. Good. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Allowing space to be present into your shoulders, into your stomach. And then on the next breath, we're going to slowly
Round through the shoulders and rise into a kneel position.
And swinging your legs forward here.
Coming onto our seated area. And as we are on to our seated area, you can find yourself on to your spine here.
Good.
And taking your hands by your hips, coming into bridge pose, taking your shoulders underneath the back of your rib cage. Hands towards the hips, bringing the heels back. We're going to inhale, rise, bringing the stomach up towards the ceiling into bridge pose. If you want to make this more intense, you can clamshell your hands together. You push your forearms into the floor as you rise up to the stomach and through the hips. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And then on the next breath, take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, release. Bring your hips all the way to the ground. Guiding your knees in towards your chest. Give them a nice hug and rock side to side. And as you hug yourself in, you go ahead and hug your right knee into the chest. Extend the left foot up towards the ceiling, flexing through the foot, toes pointed towards you. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, release, slowly engaging the leg and bringing the left heel all the way to the ground, nice and slow. Taking the right arm to the T. Tuck the right hip underneath, or the left hip underneath the right. And inhale, guide the right knee towards the left side. Going into a supine twist, making sure both of the shoulders are onto the ground here. And you can either keep the knee bent, or if you wanted to, if you want to get more into your hamstrings, you can straighten the right leg to the left side. Keep making sure that the right foot is flexed if you're straightening out through the leg. And then inhale. We're going to rise, re-bending the right knee if it's straight. And inhale, bringing the right knee back in towards our chest. Bringing the hips back into center. Left knee to follow, hugging both knees into our chest, rocking side to side. On the next breath, hugging the left knee in towards our chest and flexing the right foot and extending it towards the ceiling. Having both feet flexed here, you're going to inhale, rise, bringing the right foot up towards the ceiling, keeping it flexed. Exhale, slowly release, bringing the heel towards the ground, as active as we can. Good. Tucking the right hip underneath the left, bring the left arm to the T, and inhale, guide the left knee towards the right side. You can either keep the knee bent here, or if you wanted to, you can straighten out through the leg. Making sure both feet are flexed. 3 breaths here. Good. And on the next breath, you can bend the knee if it was straight. And inhale, square the hips and bring the left knee back into your chest. Right knee to follow. Hug both of them in and just start to rock side to side. And as we conclude our practice here, you can stretch the legs towards the front of the mat. And take a deep inhale, bringing the arms up above your head. Take 1 deep inhale, big body stretch.
And then exhale through the mouth. You can allow your arms to rest wherever is comfortable. Maybe by your hips, on your stomach. And just enjoying the next few moments here in your Shavasana. So making sure that we are feeling nice and connected with our breath here. And as we are here in our Shavasana, just taking the time as you're lying here to examine your physical strength. Because your physical strength, it is important as you are traveling here onto your mat in your own spiritual path. And becoming aware of your physical strengths as well as your weaknesses. It helps us and enable ourselves to become more in tune with our core energy, as well as naturally in our spiritual nature. It makes us become more disciplined and focused. And as we become physically stronger and more flexible and better toned throughout our exercises, you will also notice that you are emotionally different. So where you once may have been short-tempered and stuck in your ways, you'll become more flexible and less rigid. And this makes you a stronger person overall. So once that you are aware that physical strength and emotional strength go hand in hand, you can take a positive action to make changes that will spur even more of your personal positive growth. So a mantra that you could take with this practice and throughout the rest of your day today is that strength, both inner and outer, will change your perception of yourself and your world. So as we begin to find these micro movements from our toes and our ankles, our fingers and our wrists, just allowing us to reap in the benefits of today's practice, bringing awareness back to our conscious state. A little neck roll, beginning to define your breath once more. And then once you are ready, you can inhale, bring your knees up towards your chest, and inhale, stretch your arms above your head. Take in one final deep inhale through the nose, and exhale out the mouth. From here, you can Gently guide your knees to either the left or to the right side, and very swiftly come into a comfortable seated position. In your comfortable seat, you can bring your palms to meet to the heart center together in the Anjali Mudra. And take a bow for yourself for making it on today's mat, as well as extending this gratitude to all of our neighbors that took this class with us here today, expressing that love for our fellow climbers. We all miss each other, and we can't wait to meet back into the gym once this all blows over, or meet at the lake, meet at any destination that allows us to share these experiences together in light, in fun. And then in peace, be still for the rest of your day. And namaste. Thank you so much all for attending this class. I hope that you all enjoyed it. And feel free, if anybody has any recommendations, if you want to take this class, or I should say, take my 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. class. Oh, you're welcome, Matt. Oh, Matt, hello. I'm so glad that you can join. I miss you. Matt hangs out with us every Tuesday and Thursday morning in the gym. So thanks so much for joining in. I'm so glad that you can be present in this internet yoga stuff. It's super fun. But yeah, if any of you ever have any questions too, you can always feel free to message me on my Instagram. It's Climbing Santosha. I am available for any questions, any recommendations or requests, anything. Yeah, let's go ahead and have fun while we're all cooped up in here. So I'll see you later. Bye, Matt.